I don't know if you feel what I feel, because I'm feeling it again. You feel it?
Oh my,
Tyler?
I do.
Is that the...
There's a rumbling.
Do you hear that?
I hear horns, but I don't think it's the... I don't think it's the candlelight.
I think it's trivia time. Whoa!
Yay!
Disney Trivia Minutes, here to test our team on some of the questions that make us all wonder about the Walt Disney Company. This time around, it is all about Epcot.
Okay.
And by all about, I mean the first question.
Oh, okay.
So the first question, all about Epcot. And this is more designed around the pavilions as they have been, not as they are now going to be named. So the pavilions obviously changing over in terms of which area of the park has sort of a new representation and title as Epcot goes through its massive overhaul. And each area now is getting like its own upgraded title as to what specific realm they represent.
Neighborhood.
So, yeah, a little neighborhood action, as they say. But this Disney Trivia Minute question, which Epcot pavilion is the largest in the park? Is it the Seas with Nemo and Friends, the Land Pavilion, or C, the France Pavilion? Epcot's biggest pavilion in the park. The Seas with Nemo and Friends, the Land Pavilion, or the France Pavilion? Garrett, we begin with you.
All right. Let me put on my thinking cap.
Put it on.
Nah.
Oh, look at that.
No.
Half an ear.
So, I've been to Epcot once or twice.
You have.
Wow.
Yeah, and, you know, these pavilions are pretty good sizes. I was honestly going to say the former Wonders of Life experience, but apparently that's no longer a thing. So, that being said, I've heard so many different rumors about like which one's the biggest, and don't get me wrong, the Land is massive, especially because you've got 3 bays to operate, you know, Soarin'. But there's a lot of water in the seas. You know, there are 7 seas in the world, and Nemo's got a lot of friends. There's a lot of fishies down there, and we've only explored I think 5% of the ocean. So I'm just gonna assume that Disney would put that into their park. So I'm gonna go with the Seas with Finding Nemo and Friends, because I've heard that you can actually fit all of Spaceship Earth inside of the Seas with Nemo. Submerge that sucker, give it a nice little bath, because sometimes it gets a little dirty. So the Seas is my answer.
Wow.
All right. Well, there it is.
The naughty Spaceship Earth. A little dirty.
A little dirty. Kind of like Disneyland's Space Mountain Shell. A little dirty. It's got to clean that
There's a
sucker.
little space dust.
That's for sure. Katrina, Epcot's largest pavilion in the park. Is it the Seas with Nemo and Friends, the Land Pavilion, or the France Pavilion?
Oh, man.
Oh, here's the dissertation.
Oh, man.
All right. The Land. It's like given, right? The Land.
Is it?
Big. It's big.
Okay.
Maybe.
There's
I don't
some
know.
land in it.
France got taken over with rats.
Yeah.
Ratatouille, man.
Whole expansion back there.
It's big.
All right.
It's Finding Nemo. You know, the sea. They swim.
They do. Seas, Nemo.
You know,
Fish do
John
swim.
Stamos swam in there.
He did.
You know,
He did a radio show in there,
he did
right?
a radio show in the water.
In the water.
The Rush Hour
There were
Renegades.
sharks and stuff. They were like swimming around,
Yeah.
and then they were trying to like propose and stuff. Things are happening, you know. I
There's
think
a
I'm
restaurant
There's
where
a
you can-
restaurant. That's crazy.
No. That is not a restaurant. That is a restroom that you can eat crappy food in.
Whoa.
That is not.
Garrett.
Loaded.
I agree with Garrett.
It's
Whoa.
horrible. I went there with Ariel, my cousin and his wife, and we were like, seriously, this is it? And like, yeah, it's an abomination. It has cool walls that you can take pictures in front of, but no restaurant. Don't go there. Go somewhere else. Honestly, get like popcorn. It'll be
Mexican
more
food.
enjoyable.
Mexican food.
You can't go wrong, man. So good.
Yeah, I'll
Let's
take
go to Mexico.
Or go to the smokehouse. Regal Eagle.
Or do that. I believe we were on Katrina's answer.
Yeah. Well,
Right. What were you going to answer, Katrina?
I'm also gonna go with Nemo.
Oh, the Seas.
Yeah,
with Nemo
I'm
and
gonna.
Friends.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Okay, all right. We move on over to Tyler. Tyler, which Epcot Pavilion is the largest in the park? The Seas with Nemo and Friends, the Land Pavilion, or the France Pavilion?
I feel like this is a really tricky question that you came up with.
How tricky?
It's very tricky.
It's pretty tough one. So, but I think I'm gonna go with the Land. I think that that to me just sounds right. I mean, you got the 3 bays for Soarin', like Garrett said.
Living with the land.
It's like got the whole food court. There's living with the land with the plants. I just think it's probably the land. I don't know. It just sounds right to me.
I know.
It just sounds right, but maybe I don't know. All right,
Garrett, were you going to interrupt?
No.
No? All right.
No.
That's all right. Sounded like it, but I guess maybe. And off-camera, producer Tony, we ask you, which Epcot pavilion is the largest in the park? The Seas with Nemo and Friends, the Land Pavilion, or the France Pavilion?
Haven't been there since 1989, so I'm going to take a guess.
Wow.
A.
The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Very good. And we check into chat. Judith saying B. Lonnie saying the Land Pavilion. Bob saying going with B. Behind the Park saying B. David saying B as well. Nancy saying A. Jay Ware saying A as well. And Richard saying the Lands?
No one likes France.
Land.
Evidently.
No one wants France. We got rats.
The answer to which Epcot pavilion is the largest in the park is B. The Land Pavilion.
Yay.
Way to go, Tyler.
It's rigged.
Good job, chat. Let's go.
Is it rigged?
No, I don't like this. I don't like this game.
You won twice recently. Back to
I'm
back.
greedy. I want it all. I don't want to give anything.
Sharpay Evans over there. Look at you. Wow.
I want more.
More what?
Yet again, another great day to talk Disney Parks news. Hey, everybody. Wade Heath for the Kingdom Report here. You know we love rewarding you for watching or listening to this show. All you got to do to win your very own copy of my new book, Standalone, The Walt Disney Way, is leave the phrase that pays underneath this video right after the live show is over. Leave the comment, Mickey's Toontown. Mickey's Toontown is the phrase that pays this week. Yeah, between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, in which to enter if you are the winner, we will reach out to you and get this book shipped your direction, all by leaving the phrase that pays, which is Mickey's Toontown, in the comment section right after the live show is over. And on today's broadcast, we are going to be talking about how that new Lightning Lane Premier Pass is going to cost you a pretty penny to skip the lines at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Disneyland is teasing the return of the Paint the Night Parade. The most beloved parade of the modern era might just be coming back to us. And Disney has lost over $500 million to hurricanes, which is just incredible when you think about it. We're going to talk about the loss structure that Disney has been encountering in recent years because of it. And the Disney Adventure cruise ship. The maiden voyage date is now set, and all of the details have been revealed. We will discuss. Who is we? Well, as mentioned, I'm Wade Heath, joined alongside by my friends Katrina Manzoni, Garrett Hassel. They are both here to talk all things Disney news as Disney News Talk Live begins for you next. Disney News Talk Live, your opinions, your Disney parks experiences. Hey, everybody. Once again, Wade for the Kingdom Report joining you here for a rundown of the latest Disney news from coast to coast. Certainly, it is always great to be part of your weekend. No matter how your weekend is going, we hope we can provide a little bit of joy, a little bit of fun for you. Great to be back. As always, we have these busy day-to-day work lives that just consume us sometimes, but there is no other place we would rather be than right here. Who is we, you might be asking? Well, this week I am joined by my lovely friends, Katrina Manzoni and Garrett Hassel. Hey, you two.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone, how you doing? Long time no talk about Disney.
I know.
Long time.
Disney
Yeah.
drought.
Disney drought, long time talk, no talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No
like
talk.
I like to
I
talk.
miss talk.
I'm kind of good at it. I'm told I'm good at it. I tell myself that.
You
I
would
think
talk
you're
to
good at
yourself.
talking.
I know.
Even French.
I know how to use words.
The best words.
I know
That's
secret
our
words.
guy.
I like cheeseburger.
I love lamp. All of those things. And unfortunately, the great Tyler Crouch is not able to join us today. Hopefully, he will be back with us soon. Still hitting that campaign trail hard as we get ever so closer to the appointment of the next Disney CEO. He is continuing to conduct his rallies in those swing states, hoping for all the votes. And, maybe he can pass up Dana Walden. Maybe he can pass up Josh Tomorrow as the next Disney CEO. What do you think his chances are, Garrett?
I'm putting him. I'm putting him in the. He's at least got 52% of the vote out there. Like, he hasn't run away with it yet, but he's got that majority now. And if we look at the whole park area, he's locked down Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, and he's got a good hold in two of the four parks out of Walt Disney World. Disneyland, he's got Tomorrowland, but he's working on Adventureland, so it's looking great out there. Can't wait to see him on the campaign trail and his debate next week against Donald Duck.
Oh my gosh, he's got an
campaign manager, killing it.
All that analysis.
We have high hopes for our boys. Less IP, more Imagineering. That's what we like to say.
More Imagineering. Yes.
Yeah.
What a great, I think slogan to go with is more Imagineering, less IP. Thank you. More creativity. Well, no, always great to have the two of you here with us, and certainly we've got a lot to talk about today, including perhaps the hottest of topics, and that, of course, relates to the new Premier Pass, Lightning Lane Premier Pass, as they call it. Forbes writes the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim and Disney World in Orlando will launch Lightning Lane Premier Pass, a new premium skip-the-line service on October 23rd and October 30th, respectively. The new service will include one entry into every attraction that offers Lightning Lane entrance for one day. Disney says the service is limited to a small number of guests each day. Disney World and Disneyland have different guidelines for who can purchase the new service. The prices for the Orlando and Anaheim theme park resorts are also different. At Disney World, the debut Lightning Lane Premier Pass is on the 30th and is only available to guests staying at Deluxe or Deluxe Villa resorts. Lightning Lane Premier Pass can be purchased up to 7 days before your visit in Orlando, and prices are set for one park per day, skipping the line for each eligible attraction once per day. Those who buy the service can enter the Lightning Lane for a ride whenever they choose throughout the day, and prices will vary by date and theme park. The least expensive park is, of course, Animal Kingdom, where Lightning Lane Premier Pass will be looks like $129 to $199 plus tax per person. Epcot will be $169 to $249 plus tax per person. And access to Lightning Lane attractions at Hollywood Studios will cost $269 to $349 plus tax per person. Most expensive park, I don't think anybody was surprised by this, Magic Kingdom. Prices ranging from $329 to $449 plus tax.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Lightning Lane Premier Pass will be on sale at the Disneyland Resort starting on October 23rd to every guest with a park reservation, regardless of where you're staying. The service can be booked 2 days before your trip. Prices vary by date there as well, but the service is good for both parks. There's a value, with one ride per Lightning Lane entrance during the day. For the remainder of 2024, Lightning Lane Premier Pass will be $400 per day per person. Then in 2025, the prices will vary by date and demand, ranging from $300 to $400 per person. With the new service, park goers can use Lightning Lane entrance whenever they want throughout the day without the need for a return time. Katrina, this news comes less than a week after Disneyland raised ticket prices again.
Yeah.
Lowest price for a one-day pass to the theme park remains unchanged at $104, but the cost for a ticket on the busiest days finally went through that $200 a day threshold, up to $206 now from $194. The price increases that went into effect last week ranged from 5.9% to 6.5%. So what do you make of the Lightning Lane Premier Pass on top of this, and will you be using it?
Oh my gosh. I think I like when I read this, I almost at first I read it wrong, so I had to reread it because I thought it meant like you can buy it for the rest of the year for $400, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a great deal."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Shoot, I'll add it." And then I read it and I was like, "Oh no. That's like per day. Oh no,
Mhm.
that is so expensive. And listen, there's two. I get it. Like you get two parks. Are you gonna be able to use all of your lightning lanes in one day without killing yourself? That's one question. And two, it's I think it's kind of sad because you have individual lightning lane, then you have the like what is it called? A multi-pass lightning lane. And now you're gonna have a third option, which is the premier lightning lane, and they're all gonna get funneled into the same line.
Right.
So what do you make of that? Like that doesn't really seem like quality to me, right? It's just they just want people coming in and scanning their bands, right? And paying the money. And if I'm paying $400 a day to hopefully skip the line, I would hope that I would wait less than like maybe I'll say on a 60-minute queue, 10 minutes, right? On a normal 60-minute queue, I would
Sure.
hope I would wait like 10 minutes. So that's kind of a bummer. I mean, if people are able to spend that money, have at it. I'm gonna pass. There's a point where if it's gonna be $400 a person, might as well just do VIP tour and just go all out.
I
If
was
I know I'm
thinking the
gonna be
same
with a big
thing.
group.
Yeah.
I was like,
And then you
you
get
know,
to buy cool merchandise that's like exclusive to VIP.
right. How close does this get, to a price for the sake of like a VIP tour in which you get so much more by
Mhm.
Yeah.
comparison? That comes very closely in line. You're absolutely right. And Gary, do you find any value in the Lightning Lane Premier Pass since this is essentially a Dream Fast Pass of yesteryear, allowing you access to every ride once, whenever you want? I remember way back when during the Year of a Million Dreams, we gave away
Yeah.
these Dream Fast passes. People hunted us for them when we were the Dream Squad. Folks
How scary.
wanted desperate, yeah, it was scary. There were many moments where it was quite frightening. But they would hunt us because these Dream Fast passes. I mean, that's what this is with the Premier Pass now. You had a tab representing every attraction between Disneyland and California Adventure on the West Coast, and that would allow you the opportunity to go and experience whatever you wanted.
Mhm.
With no wait, you just jump to the front of the line. This is basically that. So is there value in it doing this sort of thing? And I guess maybe if it's a once a year trip sort of thing, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think?
Yeah. Value is a very subjective term, just like art is. Some people see the value in this. I, on the other hand, do not. Unless you make a good strong six figures plus,
Right.
and like maybe it's just you and your partner or you and a friend, sure. But I don't see the value in this. It to me would be more beneficial for you and your buddy or you and your families to pool money and go on a VIP tour because you know the most comparable thing to this is what Universal has with their express lane and how but you can go on rides multiple times with that versus this you get one ride one attraction sure you get to skip the line but like the only true way to get the full value out of this is you need to do every single attraction which includes shows which why would you ever use a fast pass or a lightning lane for a show and character meet and greets which I personally wouldn't do. um I want to be able to go on Tiana's Bayou Adventure multiple times, or Tron Light Cycle Run, or go on Tyler's favorite ride, Smuggler's Run, multiple times. So I don't see the value in this. This comes out of left field where thank goodness they still have the individual lightning lanes, which is what I like to do a lot of because, like for us veterans of Disney, we've gone multiple times to where we don't need to do every attraction in a day to be happy. We can do our 1 to 2 big ticket items, enjoy the atmosphere, and then go on our merry way. But the only way there's any value to this is the Disneyland version, just because you get the two parks. The Magic Kingdom one is absolutely absurd because I just the Tron is awesome, but I would rather just buy an individual Lightning Lane once for like 22, even $40. I'd spend $40 for that to do it once than $400 like or 300 like anything over 150 for this is just absolutely absurd. So yeah, that I don't see the value in this. But hey, if anyone wants to gift this for me for Christmas or the holidays, please let me know. I'll send you my Venmo.
I do want to do the math. Like, what is the cost, or how many lightning lanes in each park are there compared
So,
to the prices that they're charging?
someone on TikTok did this and actually did the numbers. The most value is actually with Animal Kingdom because it
That's what
turns
I
out to
thought.
be like maybe 1649, but that is every attraction, including Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, and such. So yeah, but you have to do everything in order to get that. But yeah, it starts at 16 and then only goes up from there. But we could easily we'd have to calculate the amount of rides. But yeah, I'm with you, Katrina.
Yeah, it seems kind of strange. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in it because like I think what you were saying about Universal, like Universal has two options. You have an express pass and you have an unlimited express. And with unlimited express, you can do whatever you want as many times as you want. And I get that Disney doesn't want that, right? Because like what you
Hmm.
said, people would just go to Tiana's Bayou Adventure like 45 times if they want to. And that's not what they're in for, right? They want everybody to just use it once and call it a day. Um, but it just seems like so overpriced for what it is. Like I can imagine maybe Magic Kingdom if you it's like your only day you're gonna they're targeting the one-time person like you said.
Yeah,
They're not targeting us. They're not targeting the people that go
no.
all the time. They're targeting those once in a lifetime people where they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go all out. We're gonna buy this pass. We're gonna ride every single ride. And then come to find out they only did maybe a handful. Because honestly, if you're able to do all lightning lanes in one day at Magic Kingdom, good for you. That is so exhausting. I mean, we did like a tour once and we tried doing Magic Kingdom rides and I think I was just beat by the end of the day.
Yeah,
And it takes a lot of hours too, even
yeah,
with Express Pass too. It or not Express, excuse me, Lightning Lane.
yeah. Well,
Uh yeah.
yeah, no, even doing like I've gotten to right before Ariel and I got married, we and the whole family, we went on a VIP tour and we had that for I'd say maybe 6 or 8 hours. Even that was exhausting and we were going pretty good pace and we did everything we could, but that was exhausting. So I can only imagine, trying to do this with every single attraction to get the true value of it.
Yeah.
It's it's better to do the VIP tour because you get that extra experience, you get the fun facts and
You get the transportation.
yeah,
That's
yeah, you
like the
get
big you go
hey,
park to park.
hey, I'm all about the Mickey bars. I probably had 4 or 5 of those things on that day.
Make it worth it. All the
But
water in the world, everything. It's just and then the thing is for me too, it's, going on a vacation so stressful, right? Everybody
mhm,
thinks it's gonna be magical and beautiful and everything's gonna go their way, and sometimes things don't go their way, right? There's flight plans that change, things come up, people get sick, financial issues kind of come up and everything, and then you start getting stressed, and then you start seeing how these bills start adding up, right? And then
mhm,
you're like, tickets cost how much? And then right now only the deluxe hotels get it, right? So now people probably want to stay at deluxe hotels and they're probably going to jack up their rates for deluxe hotels because they are able to get this benefit to buying it. And now they're going to be even more stressed because these hotels are very expensive. And then on top of it, they're going to have their kids. And then maybe their kids don't really want to go all day and ride all these rides. They want to take a break and they have to take a nap. And then these parents are getting mad because they're losing the money that they paid for these premier passes. And then it just becomes stressful and angry, and there's just more and more tension and more anger buildup, right? Because they have this elevated expectation that everything's going to go great, and then they start seeing how expensive everything is, to have this beautiful trip. And I can say, like, pack your patience, because sometimes those lightning lanes are really long,
oh, yeah.
especially for a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Sometimes that line gets so lengthy, I get impatient. I'm like, this is why did we do this?
Mhm,
And then so sometimes, I mean, with this one, it's a benefit. You get to kind of walk by, and if it's a long line, come back and do it, go do another ride, and then come back, right?
mhm.
Versus you have the lightning lane and you're only able to do it within this hour. And so of course there's going to be a long line, and sometimes there's like low points and whatnot. But um pack your patience, and then, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, maybe no one will want to do this and then they'll lower the rates. I don't know. But doing it per park is pretty expensive for
Yeah.
Disney World, but I get it. It's just, oof, that's expensive.
A little bit more of a value when it comes to Disneyland side, right? Having both theme parks incorporated into the bundle is,
It
I
is,
guess,
but
an
also, can
easier
you do it?
sell overall, but it's still really steep.
It's really Can you do all those rides in a day? Like, I mean, you would have to literally walk in, like, park. I want someone to test this. Wade, this is your job. Okay, you live the closest. You're gonna buy this, and you're gonna wake up, park open, and you're gonna get this pass. And my God, you are gonna go hard, and you're gonna ride every single ride. And tell me if you're able to do this.
Wade,
Yes, ma'am.
if you're doing this and paying for it, I'll come to and I'll vlog the experience, but you have to pay for me as well.
Oh, but I have to pay for you as well. No, I
Yeah.
completely understand.
Oh
Yeah.
It would
no.
be an honor to pay for you, Garrett.
Thank you.
Richard taking the words right out of my mouth. This is all I was thinking as you guys were talking. He says, I
Oh
wonder
yeah.
if they are going to significantly increase the VIP tour prices to
Mhm.
make the Premier Pass seem valuable. Richard,
Mhm.
I guarantee that's on the way. I guarantee that's the
Oh yeah.
next announcement. They
Mhm.
have
Holidays
to,
coming,
right?
man. It's gonna go
Yeah.
up.
They've got to create distance between these two now because it's too close. So,
I want to be in the
um,
meetings where they have these conversations. Be like, listen, skip the line. You go to. Is there going to have a separate small line where it's like, listen, I'm not going to stand in If I'm paying these prices, I better be able to skip every little person in that line. And be like, listen, I'm going to the front. I don't care who you are. I want that
I don't think
ability.
there is. Because they already have the checkpoints already set up. So they would have to like make a third queue.
I want to go. I want to go through the tunnels, backdoor it, like what the
See,
celebrities do.
expectation, people. They're spending such
expectation.
high price. You want that. You want to feel privileged, right?
I
You
want to
want
feel
to
like a
have that
princess.
ability to walk in and say, I'm Premier, and then walk through. And then they're like, no, you're cattle. Get in the line.
Your cattle.
Mm.
Get in there, little moo. Well, D's saying I have my small DVC resale contract and no intention of adding any upsells. Yeah, I think about that myself, D, where it's like, how about these folks who already spend a small fortune for DVC and the ultimate buy-in basically when it comes to Disney and the Vacation Club, and then on top of that you have all these additional upsells being thrown at folks and it's like shouldn't the most dedicated of all of the fans for Disney, like a Disney Vacation Club member who has bought into this for what is that contract, like 49 years, something like that, like it's a ridiculous amount of your life that you dedicate in contract form to paying for a Vacation Club contract. Shouldn't they have these types of things
Hmm.
woven in, some sort of an extra that really kind of greases the wheels a little icing on the cake. Diana saying, "Me too, D." So
Yeah.
it sounds like she's in the same boat. But you would think like these types of like big perks would be something that they might hand over to the most loyal and truly the most invested, literally,
You would think
of
so,
all of the
Wade.
Disney fans. But no,
Isn't that a curious thing?
it's a little curious to me.
I
Oh.
know.
But I
And
have
I
to
love
go
how
try it out.
Universal did that 1-2 punch like the next day, being like, hey, Epic Universe is opening. Guess what,
Oh
loyal
yeah.
people,
No,
my
they.
annual pass holders? You can
Oh.
buy a 1-day ticket up to 6 times at the beginning of the opening because we
Oh.
love you. And then here's Disney being like,
Well.
money, please.
Disney does this all the time where they're like, okay, we're gonna drop some bad news. We're raising prices, but guess what? The Disney Adventure is right around the corner. Come check it out. Like they try and bury this underneath everything. Like people aren't
Look
gonna
at our cute
do it,
tiger.
talk about it or anything like that.
Oh yeah, the new tiger that was born, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at our
Yeah.
cute new tiger.
I call it the
Kitty.
bad news sandwich. That
Yeah.
Disney's really
Oh my
good at the
God.
The
bad
bad
news
news
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Both bread pieces are good news, and they stick the worst possible liver and onions in the middle of those two bread pieces to make the most
Mm.
awful sandwich. And that news is always something awful or terrible or makes you feel angry. But guess what? We've got another slab of bread coming up, and it's delicious. There's
Yeah.
great news. Yep,
Yeah.
they're good at that.
Did
They
they
know
do
what they're
something to
doing.
DVC too now to make it like less worthy? Like you have to pay more to do the lounges now?
Not on top of it, really.
I don't know.
Come on.
See, this is the thing, the bad news sandwich, because it was like good news, and then it was bad news of this DVC. And then they're lucky. I think it came out around the same day Epic Universe made their announcement for annual, or like Universal made it for Epic Universe for annual pass holders to buy their tickets. So it kind of got buried into my Twitter news. And I was like gonna reread it, but then I was like, oh wait, didn't DVC get shafted?
Yeah.
They know their
Again?
strategy. They know what they're doing.
Oh man.
Sad to hear for sure. Well, Premier Pass going to be a part of our lives here very shortly. Another option, another add-on that
True.
is only going to chip away. More than anything, it's like yes, this is an add-on, right? You don't have to buy it, but it's still the same inventory everywhere. Like when you think about attractions and the ability for capacity for each of these attractions and these parks, it is still the same inventory. That doesn't change. And
Yeah.
so what happens, even though they say this is going to be a limited amount of Premier Pass options, I guess they're only going to sell so many Premier Passes a day is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter though.
That's a gimmick. They're
Because
just making it sound cool.
yeah, I'm sure
So
it'll
people
still be
buy it
funny.
fast.
Yeah, you're very exclusive, but it's the idea that there is no more inventory today than there was the day before they made this announcement. And so what this does is this chips away at the inventory that would have been there for the traditional Lightning Lane people that were already paying, the traditional Lightning Lane folks that, were already making an attempt to get on their favorite attractions. So that inventory is still the same that they started out with, and so it's not like magically there's more capacity to accommodate Premier Pass. This just means that the lesser paying people get whittled out of the equation a little bit more, which is really really tough to, I think, absorb. After reading a story like this and going, okay, you want me to pay that much more to have that much more access, but I don't necessarily want all that access. I don't want every single ride. I want the rides that I want, which I thought was the whole idea behind Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. It could
Yeah.
be customized, exclusive to what you want. That was the whole thing. But now it's like, oh, but now there's a Dream Fast Pass idea that we're charging you for. Here you go, Premier Pass. Have fun,
Why didn't
everybody.
they just keep
400
Max
bucks.
Pass? Like this was the
Yeah.
who I want to be in this meeting and like listen to these people talk about what a great idea this is going to be and why we're doing this. And I want to read all of their notes because this seems really silly. And then also, it's just what household income are they trying to aim for here? Because if you look now
It's
with
pretty
all of
expensive.
these price hikes and everything, who are they trying to gauge? Because they're trying to show like that they're open to everybody, and right now they're literally pricing out a lot of people.
Talk to that
And like
guy.
everywhere you go, they're pricing
Yeah.
everything out.
Talk to
Like,
him.
I really
know.
want to. I really want
Dang
to
it,
know.
Josh.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me with what they're doing with these price points, especially like I get it, you increase price because you got to drive business needs and your job is to be profitable at the end of the day. But at this point, it's just absurdity, and I don't know who their target demographic is. There used to be, like middle income families and everything like that. Now it's like, listen, we want the people that have Bentleys and Louis Vuitton bags and have 13 babysitters for their three kids and also own city blocks in Beverly Hills and New York City. That's who they're
So
going
you
for.
don't want those people coming to your park. They'd be rude.
Well, let us
But
never forget the Tomorrowland cabanas. Do you remember those in Magic Kingdom?
No.
Years
no.
ago, the Chapek era, there were cabanas in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom, upsell cabanas that you
Wait,
could
where was I
retreat
in
to.
this?
Yeah, where the heck?
Seems like a you thing, Katrina. I got to tell you. No, I don't like. It didn't last long. That's probably why you don't remember it. It didn't last long, but that existed. There was a brief period of time where they put up these relaxed cabanas that you could pay for I don't remember the specifics of like how many hours that you ended up paying for it, but these ridiculous, like, as if you were staying poolside somewhere in the worst land for relaxing there is. Maybe that's why they thought, oh, cabanas would be nice here, but you're in a concrete jungle in
Where
Tomorrowland on
would you
either
put it?
coast.
By Autopia?
Yeah, it was I'm trying it was between like Space Mountain and you know where that stage is now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Where
yeah, that
like
big
Stitch comes
Tomorrowland
out and
stage.
stuff?
Yeah, so between Space Mountain and Carousel of Progress, they had cabanas in that area. And I thought,
Oh my
is this the
gosh.
future? Like, you're gonna put cabanas in lands for people to go sit and eat and
I
drink
would like
things and
my
be
own
waited on?
private buggy and the people mover. That's what I want. That's what I'll pay for.
Bring
Just
it
come and
on.
go as I please to the people mover. That's all I would pay for.
A Walt Disney buggy that he used to
Yeah.
drive around, right, and wave to people on. Yes, bring it. I
Oh,
would love
That's
to
goodness.
see that.
so wild. Chapek, what were you thinking?
One
I
of
mean,
his
like, I
best
get it, like, a
ideas
kid
ever.
needs to take a nap or something, and you're, like, all the way in Animal Kingdom Lodge Hotel, like, over there. I get it, and you need to take a nap. Maybe I would probably pay for it so my child can, like, sleep or something, but, oh my gosh, like, at least put it in Adventureland or something. But where would you put it?
Somewhere near water,
Yeah, I
tranquil,
guess. Well,
right?
now
Not
that's
the
gonna be
concrete
covered.
jungle.
Put it in the middle of the what is it called? Tom Sawyer Island. Just put it you go over there in a cabana.
Tom
You
Sawyer
have to make the
Cabanas.
journey.
But you have to swim
Yes,
across the water.
That's okay. You'll get there.
brilliant idea. At least that's that is a retreat from the rest of the park when you go out to that island. It's pretty nice. So,
Might as well do
but
it now
anyway,
before it becomes concrete.
no kidding. Yeah, gonna lose that soon. Well, Premier Pass, an option for us here very shortly if you want to take advantage of it. Next up here on Disney News Talk Live, it turns out that Disney is teasing us. Perhaps you saw it. That's right. The Orange Register writing that Disneyland teased the return of the Paint the Night parade on the park's official Instagram account with a paint palette, star-eyed amazement, and light bulb emojis saying, "Stay tuned for more." The Paint the Night Parade debuted at Hong Kong Disneyland in 2014, played at Disneyland in 2015 for the park's Diamond Anniversary celebration, and moved to Disney California Adventure in 2018. The Instagram teaser post did not say when the parade would return to the Disneyland Resort or which park would host the encore. Katrina, this is one of those entertainment offerings that rated higher in guest satisfaction scores than the 60th Diamond Anniversary itself during its
Yeah,
initial run.
that's true.
As mentioned in the story, it has only been back to the California parks for one other limited run. Tell us, what's your opinion of the parade, and when will Disneyland be inserting this parade next, if you had to guess?
Oh my god. I love this parade so much. I remember being there the 24-hour day on the 60th anniversary. It was a nightmare day. It was very scary. It was a lot. It was a memory though. And I remember being like barely alive and then watching it. And then as soon as you see those lights coming down the dark walkway, we're kind of by like the castle, but so they're going kind of through where Alice in Wonderland is
Mhm.
by Matterhorn. So that
Yeah.
kind of that dark area, and then you see this like huge lights, and then you see like this slow music kind of starting and everything. It really makes you come alive. It's really, really beautiful. And when they had the additional stuff on the parade floats, they were so it just looks so amazing. And then you see what's his name? Mac drive, the
Yeah.
semi from Cars drive through, and you're like, oh my God, this is huge. And it just blows you away. And then Tinkerbell, oh yeah, Tinkerbell's right there on the screen. So she kind of just like floats around and stuff. It's just so beautiful. The music's so fun and
Uh-huh.
upbeat. And it's just so much better. I mean, I'm sorry, I love the electrical light parade. It is beautiful. It's a classic edition, but it always comes back. I'm like, okay, please just let it go away for a while.
Yeah.
And then make you crave it again. And but this music is just so fun, upbeat. And then when they moved it over to DCA, it was fun, but I don't think it was as impactful. Is that a word?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a word.
As it was in Disneyland, because they had to take off some of the overhead pieces because they were going to hit the trolley lines. So they had to take them off. But Mac was still cool driving through because it kind of just like the perspective and everything. You're like, whoa. And then I remember watching it from Carthay Circle. We were up on the balcony and we were watching it drive by when Carthay used to have the little upstairs bar for like a blink of an eye. And then you got to see the drivers driving it, which was really fun because you got to see like above the view. And that was really neat. But anyway, I'm really excited to see it back. But I would like to see it back at Disneyland so they can add those pieces back on. That would be the coolest part. I know they're going to get rid of the trolley, so maybe but would be able to they're probably going to get rid of the lines and then they're able to put the pieces back on. But I feel like I don't know. It kind of fits in both parks. I feel like seeing princesses in DCA is weird. I don't know why, but like seeing Aurora and like Ariel and stuff, I'm like, this is weird. And then versus like Disneyland, I'm like, I'm okay seeing Mac over there. It's fine.
Oh, Mac.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. But it would be cool if they brought it to Magic Kingdom, but that's never gonna happen because the turns are too tight. But I wish it would come back to Disneyland Park, not DCA though.
So you're saying it's weird to see princesses at California Adventure?
It's weird. I don't know. It's just like Ariel is in the park. Don't get me wrong. Like she has a ride out there, but I just feel like they belong where the castle belongs.
I see. Yeah, I was going to say, Ariel, for the longest time, she had a restaurant and all of her friends dined in California Adventure.
There, but that's why they got rid of it and made it Land
That's
by
why
Land.
they're gone. Well, Garrett, this parade has been kept under lock and key out of sight for several years in between appearances. So when do you think Disney, I guess, same question. When is this coming back? I mean, if they're teasing it now, it must be soon. But why do you think Disney treats this parade that way? They lock it up. It's one of the most popular things they have ever, based on guest satisfaction rating. They know that through their surveys. And then, they only bring it out for a very limited run. Then they lock it up for years. And it's strategic, clearly, that they're using it at this point, I guess.
You know, based off of how they, pull out, the premiere pass and everything like that, I don't know if there's any actual strategy with how Disney does things for the parks anymore. Like this parade, I saw it during the 60th anniversary and I was blown away by it. Where like I was by the train station at Disneyland and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And you see Tink flying around and Peter Pan. I remember him waving at me, and then Mickey with his float is just my favorite part by far, just because it's got that weird kaleidoscope effect on the back end. But the only way I could think that they bring this out and about every now and then is that like, hey, we want it to be like a limited time thing, so that way we can pull it out when we're not in peak season. But then again, the parks seem to always be in peak season now. So I really can't figure out like why they would pick, hey, we're like, since they announced it now, I could see it coming out either come January in the new year, or they could be like, hey, we're busting it out come December, but then they have, the Christmas parade and all that. So I really don't know. I would think in 2025 they're gonna bust it out because we're already at the end of 2024. But
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
happy that's coming out. Yeah, look at that kaleidoscope effect on there with Mickey. So cool. All I know is that please don't ever bring back the Main Street Electrical Parade. Let it rest in peace. And can we get a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom, for goodness sake? Like, they're giving all the love to the Disneyland Resort. Magic Kingdom is the most visited theme park in the world. It's got no nighttime parade. I just want something down there, man. I don't. I just want something. I know they teased it back at D23, but I'm happy that's coming back. But I'm just a little bitter for the East Coast people.
Yeah, you're gonna get that Disney World nighttime parade summer of next year.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with you. It's so bizarre that they've let this amount of time elapse with no nighttime parade at Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom, especially because Paint the Night has been available. I thought
Oh
for
yeah.
sure we were going to see a Paint the Night run in Disney World for a
I
limited
I
time. I thought
I
that was going to
thought
happen.
so. I thought so too. Whether it's, at Hollywood Studios or Magic Kingdom, those would be the only two places that I think would possibly work. But, whether it's the turning or whatever at Magic Kingdom, it would go perfect there because it fits the persona of that park. I don't get it because places like, Tokyo Disney, they aren't even owned by Disney. And what do they have? They have Tokyo Dreamlights, which is probably the best nighttime parade Disney's ever seen. And they just pay for the rights. Why can't us here stateside get something big and magical like this? But hey, I'm happy that's coming back. Fingers crossed that it comes back, early January, probably after all the Christmas stuff has gone down, and then they keep it going. Just like maybe they turn it down, maybe they just don't have it for a few months, like during Halloween, Christmas season, they just leave for the rest of the year. I don't know. I would, I would try and talk Disney strategy, but their strategy is apparently rolling dice and hoping to land on snake eyes.
I would hope that it's probably like end of January when everything's going under construction and they need to like entice people to start
Yeah,
coming. But then again,
yeah,
like why have a nighttime parade when when they're closing early? Like
Yeah.
unless you're
yeah.
doing it like spring break or something. But
Yeah.
because they're
Like
going to be
maybe.
closing early and not even doing well. I mean, I guess they don't really do fireworks throughout the week on a
Yeah.
slow week anyway at Disneyland. So maybe this is just to do this and that instead
Yeah, like
versus
if
Mickey's Mixed Magic because that's boring.
yeah, if they do this during like I don't know, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like something like that, select times of
What
the
happened to
week.
Tuesday?
No, no, no one cares about Tuesday.
Ah,
That's
I
Taco
love
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. I'm sorry, they can't compete with that. I, who knows? But as long as Paint the Night comes back, I like the wands that came out where you could like where they danced to the music. I always thought that was cool, and it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah, the
absurd. It
ears.
wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't absurdly priced. Like it was a fair price, and you really with the amount of lights, like the LEDs just shine so
They came
much
and went
better.
so fast.
hmm I just, I just, I'm excited for nighttime parades. I just hope that they give us like a clear vision and be like, hey, it's for select times only, select magic only. They've been doing that too much, and the guests don't want that. We want to see this stuff more often than once. You get it for 1 month, but you get 6 months off. Like that does. I don't like that strategy. I don't like that idea.
I want to use my Premier Lightning Lane for a seated seat to watch
Do
the
you want to? Do you want
Paint
to
the
ride
Night
on
parade.
Mac? Do you want to be on Mac?
No, it's a little too high, but I'll sit with Peter Pan.
Okay, Peter Pan's for dope. I want to be Tinkerbell.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You fly around.
I
Brilliant
I I
idea.
I will. I am the
Green's a
golden
good
goose. I,
color
I
for
do
you.
fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, geese do fly. No, I think clearly being teased for the 70th anniversary next year.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely being dangled in front of everybody as oh, guess what? You're gonna get this. It's coming back. So I look at these and as glad as I am to have it back because it is one of the greatest nighttime entertainment anythings they've created. Um, it's also one of those things where I'm like, yeah, but it's also your 70th anniversary. Wouldn't you want to create something special for such a
Yeah.
big milestone anniversary? Because you have that opportunity. Hey, would rather have this nighttime entertainment than no nighttime entertainment. But yeah, that soundtrack alone, outstanding. Paint the Night is one of those
hmm
truly captivating nighttime entertainment shows that I think has left, for as short of a run as it has had, it has left a lot of people feeling great. It has left a lot of people smiling, and it's wonderful that they have managed to limit its exposure. Sometimes Disney has the tendency to, for the lack of a better expression, whore things out when they realize that they are popular. And this is not one of those situations.
Yeah,
They have been very disciplined
yeah,
And
at
I wonder
limiting
why.
the exposure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they are because this really does build that anticipation, like you were saying, Katrina, about the electrical parade. Keep it away for a long time so that when it does come back, I can still feel good about it, and not be
Yeah.
annoyed by it because you're telling me it's gone forever every single time and then it returns.
It's like
At
3
least with
years later,
this.
it's like, "Hey, guess what? Due to popular demand, we're bringing it back." And I was like, "No one cares about this. Read the news. People want Paint the Night. It's been like 10 years
At
since
least
we've been able to
now,
have this." Well, I guess
I
DCA
agree.
counts. But still, it's been a really long time, and I feel like they could really I mean, it would be nice for them to have a new parade, but I guess maybe funds are good, so they're like, "Hey, let's add more people to the checklist, so we're
if it,
gonna have the parade now."
yeah, if they're bringing back old school parades, can they bring back the old school Lion King or Hercules parade? Because I remember those, and I had the VHSs, and those
Oh
were
my gosh,
fire. Those were absolute fire.
Those are
hilarious.
very popular
Yeah.
as well. Well, moving along here, I hope to see Paint the Night back very soon. I totally predict 70th anniversary kickoff is probably
Yeah,
when we'll see that.
spring
Although,
break for me.
it feels like that would be a long time to tease it now and not have it show up until
We need to
spring.
put in good news, Wade, for the bad news
You're right.
sandwich.
Right. Bad news sandwich. You got it. Well, in some unfortunate news, obviously, the East Coast of the United States dealing with
Mm-hmm.
hurricane impacts. Orlando Business Journal sharing that closures at Disney due to storms do date back to 1999, and the losses aren't small. According to International Theme Park Services, a Cincinnati based consulting company fronted by CEO Dennis Spiegel, said that he tracks Disney World's storm related losses and has for the past 25 years. Hurricane Milton marked another time Orlando's largest theme park, Disney World, has had to shutter, easily costing millions of dollars in lost revenue for the entertainment giant. October 9th was Disney World's 10th time to close due to a hurricane, this time, of course, being Hurricane Milton. Tallying up the prior 9 closings using Spiegel's calculation and adjusting for inflation, Disney has lost more than $547 million in hurricane related closures. Goldman Sachs has taken a slightly different approach in unpacking revenue losses. The investment bank has projected that attendance at Disney World will be down by 6% this quarter, courtesy of Hurricane Milton, and that comes to between 150 million and 200 million in losses for the quarter alone, says Goldman Sachs. Garrett, you've lived through
Yeah.
many of these hurricanes in Florida, and more importantly, you've worked through them. What can you share with us about the way theme parks are impacted from someone who used to be on the inside?
So, Disney's primary concern is always going to be safety. So, if Disney closes their parks, it is not because, they don't want people there. It's because, they really fear that the storm is going to, you know, be a danger to the guests and to, the cast members there. So, what I've seen happen and what I've experienced is they will keep their parks open well enough until they feel that the storm is probably within 24 hours of hitting, and then they will send people back to their resorts, have them hang out. But what Disney will do is try and make their visit worthwhile because people are spending hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars on these trips. They will have character performers and they'll have cast members in these hotels, and they will be renting out the convention center and hosting games in there and trying to keep it interactive. But Disney has a very sound structure when it comes to how they build their buildings. They are not going to, the castle is not going to go fly away. That thing is bolted down. They used a lot of duct tape and WD-40 to keep that thing down. So whenever a storm comes, Disney will lock everything down. They are bolting, they make sure the tightening on everything is good. They close the doors, lock everything down so that way they can reopen as soon as possible because, every minute that they're not operating, they're losing significant cash flow. So Disney will, like, 500 million sounds like a lot, but for Disney over the course of, several years, that's really nothing much because they can make that back in the holiday season really, really fast, depending on what they have going on, especially if they have a nighttime parade. But I'm I'm just glad that, no one got hurt. There's no significant damage to the parks. And if you are in the Central Florida area or just in that area that were affected by hurricanes, I'm just glad that you're safe and hope that, you know, if you don't have power, that it comes back to you. But Disney, their goal is always going to be to remain as operational as possible and, let the magic keep on flowing.
They try their best, that's for sure.
Yes, they do.
Katrina, have you ever been caught in a hurricane or tropical storm when visiting Orlando?
I mean, I guess does the Helene count? I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah, because
not
you guys were
really.
just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just there, but we just landed and then like the very next day she rolled through. Um but it wasn't like that bad. I mean, it was like in the night and then we woke up the next morning and it was fine. And we were at Universal and it was kind of like you could see it start coming and then that was the day we checked out. And then we went to Grandestino and stayed at our favorite hotel. And
Hmm.
it was a blustery day that night. They were like holding everything down. It was really, really windy. We were trying to eat at Three Bridges and it was a mistake because our food kept like flying off our
Terrible spot
forks.
to do that during those elements.
I was craving it. I don't know why. I was like, let's just go there. We should have ate at like Maya Grill or something inside. But it, the next morning we were like kind of staring outside throughout the night and stuff just to see like the wind and the rain and stuff. But that was kind of it. And then that like later that day, it seemed like nothing ever happened. But I was getting nervous because I've never
Yeah.
been through one before.
Yeah. Yeah. The one beautiful thing about where Disney World is located is that it's Central Florida, but it's so far inland that by the time the storm usually hits Walt Disney World, the wind and rain and flooding has really subsided. Like it's going to batter down the coastline, and any kind of like small places out like in the middle of nowhere, but it usually dies out where it's just, it goes from 150-mile-an-hour winds to like 60, and that is significant when it comes to damage. So usually Orlando is like pretty solid because there's like a bunch of small little lakes and ponds, but that doesn't have enough water to really help pick up the strength of the storm. So Disney is beautifully located. Hats off to Walt when he was buying the 46 square miles. I didn't even know if he was thinking about, hey, if a hurricane came, would it be fine here? But he did a good job in Disney
Yeah.
World. I've never seen like any real damage, like iconic damage, where it's like part of the castle has been destroyed, or Spaceship Earth fell and started rolling around and all that stuff, or hey, why is the manatee in the seas suddenly in the parking lot? Like I've never seen anything like that.
No.
Disney knows how to bolt things down. I promise you that. They want to keep their investment strong.
Little Joe, get out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Get back into the seas. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Mr. Chris Danger saying that's why they want to charge so much for Lightning Lane Premier Pass, probably. So.
Possibly. Like, listen, they got to make sure to fix up any of the damages.
Yeah.
$547 million ain't cheap. I do recall, I guess it was 2019, maybe it was 2018. I forget now. Everything before 2020 is such a blur anymore. But I think it was maybe 2019, one of the largest hurricanes to roll through during that year. I happened to be present at Disney World, and they locked us away in our resort. I think it ended up being a Category 2 by the time that it arrived. But one thing that I noticed, they gave us early on, they gave us notices that said, come and pick up your lunch packs, your
Yeah.
little Lunchables that we make everybody. And I think they charged us like $10, and it was like this bag full of make your own sandwich type stuff. And they definitely, it was the best value I've ever seen, really, just because they gave you so much. I think as an encouragement, do not come to, the main, food court area. Don't you dare, venture out of your room. Here you've got enough food to last you the night. And so they sent us back to our rooms. They closed the park that day, and I was nervous because when I arrived, because I was there for a week and a half at that point,
Yeah.
and when I arrived, it was still just forming. Out in the Atlantic. It was one of those things where, that happens all throughout the summer most years. These things form out in the water, and half the time, none of them. I mean, up this year even, it only just started. That we went the whole summer without really any impacts. It was kind of incredible to watch because there was a lot of expectation that this was going to be one of the craziest summers ever when it came to hurricane activity, and we went almost the entire summer without any.
Yeah.
It just didn't. They didn't come to fruition, and now all of a sudden here they come, one after another. There's two more as we speak. It looks like forming in the Gulf right now, but. At any rate, I remember being there, going back to my room, shutting things down, and thinking, "Well, never lived through one of these." Being a West Coast guy, I've never had a hurricane come to my doorstep before. And I have to say, granted, it was only a Category 2, which is far less significant than what a lot of people ultimately end up dealing with. But the Category 2 that rolled through, I mean, it just seemed like a hectic storm.
Yeah.
I didn't notice like trees weren't falling or anything. Branches were snapping, things were flying past the window, but everything was secured. The big stuff was secured. We didn't have to worry about anything coming through our windows or breaking down our doors or stuff like that. You're absolutely right. All of the Disney World resorts are built to withstand mega category hurricanes. So I felt really secure. I think the only thing I had a concern about was, are we going to lose power at some point? And the lights flickered a couple times, but we never lost power. And I remember I think that was September of that year. And so, temperatures in Orlando in September are so gross and humid and hot anyway. So to not lose that AC was very nice to not have to worry about that. And then the next day, as we were making our way to Magic Kingdom, I remember seeing as we were on the bus, work crews were clearing things off the roads and repairing light poles and stuff like that had been damaged. But within 24 hours, you would have never known a hurricane had blown through.
Oh,
I guess that's the magic of that property.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Disney definitely has the personnel power there to make it look like nothing ever happened other than twigs and leaves. It's astounding with how fast Disney can respond to things and make it, show ready.
You got that right. Mr. Chris Danger saying, on all those who suffered issues through that, I'm hoping to be more lucky in a few years. I had Dorian. It was open to a day or so after as
Hmm.
well, thankfully, but 2 years almost had Ian. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you've been through a lot, Chris
Hmm.
Danger. That's tough to hear. But yeah, definitely you live on that coast. That tends to happen for sure.
Hmm.
Now, since we are talking about the Atlantic, we are talking about the water, we are talking about a place where cruise ships like to travel. We should talk about Disney's newest cruise ship, the Disney Adventure. The maiden voyage has been announced, and booking dates have now been posted. So, guess what? This bad boy's maiden voyage will sail out of Singapore on December 15th, 2025. Details on more sailing dates will be released on November 14th of this year. Bookings are scheduled to open to the general public on December 9th. They will open to Castaway Club members on the following dates. If you're a Pearl Castaway Club member, December 3rd, Platinum December 4th, Gold December 5th, Silver December 8th. All booking windows open at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They say the Disney Adventure is a magical cruise holiday that celebrates Disney's rich legacy of storytelling, bringing to life the fantastical worlds and beloved characters at the heart of Disney, Pixar, and Marvel. In a first for Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Adventure will include 3 all-new Disney attractions on the upper decks in an adventure zone that celebrates the larger-than-life personalities from the Marvel Universe. One of the attractions will be Iron Cycle Test Run, the longest roller coaster at sea. Guests can also look forward to a remarkable spread of dining options comprising not just of international favorites, but also world-renowned Asian cuisine. Show-stopping Broadway-style entertainment will dazzle in an all-new musical spectacular called Remember, developed exclusively for the Disney Adventure. And for every traveling group and size, there will be numerous luxurious and comfortable stateroom types for guests to retreat and unwind in. Katrina, this brand new Disney Adventure is set to be a part of our lives here, as they mentioned, come 2025. What about this ship would you, I guess, be enticed by? What would make you want to book this ship over one of the many other Disney Cruise Line ships? I feel like there are now going to be so many by
Yeah.
comparison. They're really pumping out these ships. So Disney Adventure, I know each one they want to kind of have it be its own personality. Anything attract you about this ship?
So I don't know, man. I was kind of first I got turned off by the rides. I don't know why when I was reading it, I was like, what is this, a Carnival cruise ship? And then but I think honestly the for me, I guess it would be like the adult experience. If I could afford it, I would be like, oh, let's try the concierge level because that sounds really cool because it says that they have a private fitness area and then private shopping area, even though I probably wouldn't be able to afford shopping. But it does sound fun. And then also the what is it, the spellbound bar that they were talking about, which seems
Hmm.
kind of interesting because it's inspired by the Evil Queen. And so that kind of seems interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's like a lot of food that for when I was
Yeah.
reading over
Oh,
kind of
oh
like what
yeah.
was offered, it seems like I'm just gonna be there just eating food all day and
Seems like
not
there's like
really
8
doing
dining
anything
rooms.
else.
Yeah,
There's a
there's
lot of
like
food options for sure. Yeah, the
yeah.
San Francisco street that we're looking at here,
Yeah.
it sounds like this is a mixed area of like food court, character meet and greet, entertainment style section of the ship. Which to me, I mean, this looks like a great use of space because it's got a little something for everyone. It's
Hmm.
not just food, right? There's a little bit more in terms of elements thrown in, so it's not just a food court, right? It's more than that. But you're absolutely right. The list of food options seem to be endless for
Insane.
this ship, especially
I want
going
to
out
do
of
what I did on the
Singapore.
Wish and just eat the whole time. Like that's all
Right.
I did.
Serving the Asian market in particular with this ship, which is clearly what they're doing. I don't know that the Asian population is all that keen on stuffing their faces all day, every day, like, you know, the rest of the Western world. So I often wonder if this is really going to serve them the way that they think it might serve other populations that might be interested in the ship. And Garrett, what do you think about Disney Cruise Line leaning into more like Pixar and Marvel on the ships? This one seems to have a lot of it as they
Yeah.
grow their fleet.
So, as you said, Wade, this is going to be launching out of Singapore, and it's going to be favoring a definitely more like Asian market rather than what we typically have out of the Caribbean, the West Coast route, and even the European routes in the summer. So this is a different clientele that Disney is going after, and I think they are more attached to Marvel and Pixar than they are the old school things such as the princesses. In the Imagineering story that's on Disney Plus. Bob Iger even attests to how, like, you see the parades and it's all, it's Woody and Buzz. It's all these, these IP that's not the main Disney, that's not the true Disney mainstream stuff. So I think that they are trying to, go after a target audience that responds well to these newer, younger brands that Disney has. And I say, go for it. You got to you try and put out there what the guest and what the customer wants. So kudos to them. The one thing I will point out is that you may have noticed this does not look like your traditional Disney cruise ship.
Not at
I've
all.
vlogged several times about it. You've got this. You still have the double smokestack, but there's four smokestacks on there, and that's because Disney bought this cruise ship from a company during the pandemic that pretty much went bankrupt during it. And so Disney bought this entire ship. It was just a skeleton of it for 44 million. Usually a Disney cruise ship costs $1 billion to $2 billion to build. So yeah, this is not a traditional Disney design that they just made work for it, where it kind of has that Royal Caribbean kind of look with it, like Katrina said, with that roller coaster on top, and then with this back area where on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship they do like high dives and all that stuff from there. So I'm curious to how this thing's going to work. I don't know if it would be as popular out here on the West, part of the Western world, but over in Asia and the South Pacific, this might be what people want, especially Marvel. Marvel is huge over there. If you've seen Avengers and all that, they are, that area over there is responsible for so many people going in and wanting to watch these films and all that. So I hope it's successful because, whenever anything in Disney is successful, usually that just makes the company want to do more things like it. I like that there's a lot of dining, but I don't know the numbers of how many guests can fit on this thing. So I can only imagine it's because they're going to have, like 7,000 plus guests on here. But that concierge looks pretty magical. I do like the blue in there, but no, that concierge pool deck, that to me is the rock star thing right there because I've been on the Disney Wish concierge and it's a moderate pool deck, but this one looks actually quite incredible with the areas to shade and lounge and go around there. So it should be pretty good. I'm more of a Disney cruise ship traditionalist with all the designs and everything being Disney, but this has something for everyone truly. And if there's the demand out there, then cool. I will go. I do want to go on this though, just to experience it, and plus I can go to Singapore and then, be like Captain Jack Sparrow and say, "Clearly, you've never been to Singapore before," and all that sort of thing. But they are doing the on deck stage show. It's a 3 deck high screen and multi-level, and they say that there's a show called Captain Jack Sparrow and the Sirens, and
Ooh.
I'm like,
Ooh.
ooh, that sounds cool. Like, hey, Pirate Night is the bomb. It's my favorite night. Disney's the only cruise ship that can do fireworks at sea. Don't know how they did that. Pirates and all that, but there's a lot to do for the ship. There's clearly different areas. I'm really curious about what the price points are going to be for this thing when it finally gets
Yeah.
released. It bothers me that I don't see an adult only pool area while they have a dedicated kids and teens pool area. So that bothers me a little bit
That's a
because
bummer.
I want to be able to get away from the kids and everything like that. Granted, I'm a kid at heart, but listen, if I want to drown people, it's going to be adults, not children. I do have a heart. But
Yeah, I
but
didn't
like
even read that they didn't have a pool
yeah, because like
for
all this
adults.
here, this is like their kids and teens area, and I'm like, yeah,
Yikes.
where's the adult area? Unless the back part of the ship where that
It's
oasis
making
is.
me
But then
tense.
yeah, but then they have a Moana stage show back on that pool, so that means it's not a true adult only area if you're going to have a stage show, which is clearly designed for families. So clearly they haven't shown everything that's going on, but the concierge area and just the amount of space going on in this place, the Imagination Garden looks incredible. And it looks like that there's a lot of area to run around and everything. But I'm I'm not completely sold on this because I like the traditional ships with the single smoke stack that that line up and look very you know the normal Disney ships look very angled and beautiful and elegant like the traditional ocean liners. This one definitely looks more like the MSC and the Royal Caribbeans that they now have. Still looks better than the Oasis of the Seas that have that like weird bubble head on them. But best of luck to the Disney Adventure. You know, yo, really bad eggs.
Well, I'll tell you that I figure that the ship probably has an adult area somewhere. I'm sure they have
Hopefully,
to, right?
yeah,
Because I mean, that's Disney knows the adults need, especially on a cruise ship, they need a place to go. They
yeah.
need a place to get away. I guess we just haven't heard about it yet. It's probably far more limited in scope than the last couple of ships, and that's probably why they
Hmm.
steer away from it. But you're absolutely right, Katrina. When I saw this image in particular, take away the Marvel coloring, in the background
Yeah.
with Spider-Man and Iron Man and stuff. Take that IP away, and this is the Carnival Celebration.
Yeah.
This is the Carnival
Oh.
Celebration ship. That is what this looks like. Essentially, is it's the Carnival Celebration because it has an identical route and everything for this roller coaster that they've got going on here. Now, granted, looks like they've wedged in like a spinner ride here on the deck, which that's pretty cool. Especially for smaller kids. Looks like some go karts over there
Hmm.
on the right hand side, but it is definitely reminiscent of the other brands in cruising, which
Hmm.
you two have both made this point now, and it sticks with me too. It's like, well, outside of just throwing up some IP here and there, and don't get me wrong, I love the idea of having more attractions on a ship
Hmm.
because I think a Disney cruise ship should have more attractions. It's
Yeah.
Disney. That's what people, think about. But they also think about the storytelling. They also think about how this is a ship unlike all the other ships. And unfortunately, it feels like the more I look at images of this ship, I think, okay, it's starting to look like everybody else's ships. I don't
Hmm.
know if I like that.
Right.
That bothers
Yeah.
me a little bit because I'm paying a premium price to go on a Disney cruise
Hmm.
over what I would pay for a top of the line cruise on one of those other mega brands.
Yeah.
So that sticks. That sticks hard.
Hmm.
It's interesting. They really I don't know. I feel like they added a lot more for I mean, it's great. They added more for families and stuff. They kinda took away the adult side of it. Because like the premium dining, there is really only Palo for adults only.
Hmm.
And because my console is for everybody, which is fine. But sometimes, it's just like it's nice to like step away, especially for a cruise too. Everybody's gonna be together and I'm sure it's gonna be loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that area, like with the roller coaster, the
Hmm.
rides and stuff, it's just kind of like I also would like to escape that too.
Hmm.
Do you imagine getting a room underneath all that?
Oh my
Oh my
god. There's
gosh.
gotta be warnings, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, they should have, like, red flags being like, "This is a carnival area. Be
Hmm.
warned."
Yeah.
Yeah.
This like I would imagine Disney did the research and like seeing like what would a primarily Asian market going to want to do on their cruise ships because like I'm always excited for there to be more Disney cruise ships because then that means Disney can compete in the cruise line area. But it looks like, as you said, Wade, Royal Caribbean and Carnival and all that, and it doesn't have that unique Disney feel to it. One of the former Imagineers on Twitter, he said that this is what they would call a brand slap, where they like it doesn't look like any real Disney thing. Like this right here, this is one of their new restaurants. This one looks a
Oh,
lot.
that's pretty.
That one looks pretty, but if you go to the like animator's palette one or the animator's plate that they have, the walls just look kind of white and bland and don't have like this
Like, is
area
it
that
gonna
we're
be
seeing on screen
painted
here.
throughout the night?
uh, Fingers crossed. Like this area, this looks more traditional, especially that top part there. I do miss the hanging chandeliers that they have in all the different cruise ships,
Yeah.
especially on the Wish where it has that kiss goodnight. But I wonder if Disney is currently being more cautious in their design choices to play it safe and be like, hey, this is going to be, a safe hit where we'll make our money and, we can just go on rather than being bold and dangerous and going for something unique and special. Like, so some elements of this, like this area that we're seeing right now, the Imagination Garden, I think this looks kind of cheesy, but it looks cute, very cute for families. I don't know what that area is. If someone's playing soccer there and they kick a window against my window, like they're going overboard. I'm sorry about that. But some elements of this really work. Other elements to me just seem like they're slapped on there. The San Francisco Street, that might be one of the better ones just because of how well they're using the space. But I'm until we get like videos and them really putting this thing together, I'm going to be hesitant on wanting to really be like, this is something I'm going to save up and go out for versus, hey, I would much rather go on the Disney Destiny or, I'd rather do spend extra money and go down to Australia and do that from Australia to Hawaii and get 14 days because, I want that authentic Disney flavor. So it's, I don't know. I'm really hesitant on how well this is going to do. I think it'll do well in Asia, but if it comes out west in the Caribbean, I don't know how because this is a master ship. I don't even know what ports can fit this thing.
Can I point something out really
big.
quick on this little
Sure.
video I saw on the Toy Story place where there's the water slide and the pool. There's rooms in there.
Yeah. Oh, I've been waiting to say that. I've been waiting to say, look at this.
Ew. No.
Look, these are balconies here in the middle.
Yeah, down below, yeah.
But like there's like the other picture too with the yellow and red water slide. There's rooms in there too.
Right there.
Oh, that's one deck below.
Oh, it's gonna be so loud. What are you gonna look at? What is there to look at down there?
Well, I think down below there, that might be part of that Imagination Garden area.
Yeah, I think so
and
too.
then on the others, and then on the previous one that we saw, that's where they had the Discovery Bay where it's Finding Nemo. Because you can see like it looks like Coral Reef down below, but no, that's gonna be a loud area. My recommendation, if you ever do a Disney cruise, never go on the deck directly below the pool deck. Always go two below because you're gonna hear that foot traffic. You're gonna hear the shows and the movies and all that stuff. And try to be close to a stairwell, but don't be the ones immediately next to it. Otherwise, you're gonna hear kids running through that hallway, kicking down doors, and hey, if I'm a kid, I'm gonna be running down hallways. That's what I'm gonna be doing. So that's why don't be directly next to that entrance to that stairwell.
People take notes. He knows.
Take notes, people. All the scraping of the lounge chairs as they move them across the decks.
Yeah, people dropping breakfast up top.
Oh man. This sounds horrible. I mean, this is like Royal Caribbean, what is it? The Royal Caribbean Garden View or whatever that people
Central Park or whatever.
Yeah, the Central Park view because I remember people talk about it being like, "Oh my god, it's so cool." But then some people are like, "No, it's loud."
Are those guns? Are those guns on there? I've never seen Disney actually have guns before.
Blasters, I'm sure, not guns.
Other lasers, right?
Okay.
Yeah, not guns.
Like,
they'll call them blasters.
Okay. I was like, man, like Disney's really going in a different direction here. But on the positive note, the Disney Destiny is coming out this upcoming winter, and that's part of the same Wish class that Disney has already with the Disney Wish, the the Destiny, and then the Treasure coming soon.
The Wish that you got married on. That's
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was quite magical indeed. I will say so.
Javier saying, wait a minute, those are 7 places at Disney Adventure, at Disney Cruise Line ship. Yes, as Javier was questioning as the video was playing, Town Square, Imagination Gardens, Discovery Ridge, Toy Story Place. Yes, all of these are themed areas on that new Disney Adventure ship. Something to look forward to.
7 lands. 7 lands on a cruise ship, which is an impressive feat nonetheless, and they're big spaces too. So they have the real estate finally to really go all out with these spaces, which is really cool because on the other ones, everything's quite limited because it fits the more traditional Disney design.
Got that right. Well, that about wraps up the stories for this week. Certainly, it is always over just as soon as it begins, it feels like around here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But it was fun talking with you two.
Mm-hmm.
The
I got to
best.
have my boy time. Hey,
Yeah.
You
Jared.
sure did.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're your second and third husbands.
That's right.
That's
Katrina
true.
sandwich.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only you're not the bad part.
No, I missed you guys. It's been a really long time, to be honest. What, like a
It
month
it has
hiatus?
it has been, like with them building our brand new soundstage that will have a live studio audience.
Oh my.
We're being patient with the studio.
Got to do what
Oh,
we got to do to
that's fun
grow.
news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure. But we will be back with you next week in some form. Like I said at the beginning, it is just the worst when we're not able to be with you on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, those real life jobs sometimes consume us and
They really
take us
do.
away from the ability to be able to do this for you each week.
Mm-hmm.
But we are committed. We haven't died off. We haven't gone anywhere.
No.
It's just a break in between, the likes of which that I said we don't even ever like taking. But we're happy to be back with
Yeah.
you here.
We're
We will be
human.
back with you in some form next week as
Mm-hmm.
well. The two of you have any big fall Halloween style plans coming up?
My little nephew's coming to visit on Halloween, which is fun. They're
Ooh,
gonna try to trek it to Disneyland, which I'm like, you guys are psychotic, but
Heck
have fun.
yeah.
it's a busy time of year
Mm-hmm.
to
I
be
know.
at that park. That's for
Yeah.
sure. What about you, Garrett? I hear a little pumpkin patching maybe today.
Yeah, yeah. Ariel, the family, and I, we're all going to a pumpkin patch nearby where they have like fresh apple cider. They've got like a
Ooh.
cheesy kind of haunted house.
Ooh,
They've got, pumpkin launchers and little attractions, and it's a real fun, family-friendly park. But me being from Stockton, California, there's areas where there's not fantastic lighting, and for me, I'm like, hey, if this were back home, this is kind of sketchy. But everyone's like, oh no, it's fine, it's fine. I'm like, uh-huh. So, but no, it's going to be a great time, and I personally I like the fall in short bursts. I'm not a fan of like pumpkin spice or anything like that, but I like the atmosphere and the energy, and I do like the changing of the foliage. For me, that's when I lived in Florida, that never happened. You only have summer and hurricane for the season, so it's nice to have some changing of the foliage and to be able to throw on a flannel and it not be
Yeah, that sounds
85 degrees
fun.
outside. Yeah.
Are you guys all matching to take
Uh,
photos?
not matching, but we all are gonna have, some kind of, cute little outfit on or something like
No,
that.
that's
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. But it's gonna be a good time. And then I'm trying to think about anything else. But no, I'm pumped for Halloween because who doesn't love to see, that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to seeing all the kids dressed in their Bluey costumes because
Oh my gosh.
Bluey's the best thing ever. I'm really bummed that they don't have a Bluey land on this ship. Maybe we'll get a Bluey land at one of the parks soon, but
maybe
Bluey needs to be at Bluey's the one IP that we can't get enough of. I want to have a muffins like cart ride or something like that.
Yeah. What's Wade
people love
doing
it.
for fall?
Yeah, what are you doing, Mr.
Well,
Wade?
I'm not as much of a basic bee as Garrett, putting on my flannel and frolicking in the leaves and enjoying my pumpkin spice latte
I
like
don't
he
like
might.
pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkin
You're a
spice
pumpkin
lattes.
spice lover.
I am
I don't
not.
know. You seem like the type.
I don't like pumpkin spice.
I love
Mm,
the cinnamon dolce latte. Those are great at Starbucks. I only have them like a couple times a year to like make me feel like, oh my God, it's like Christmas or fall. But then that's it. I'm not a big pumpkin spice latte person, but I do like cinnamon stuff. I think it's just
cinnamony.
Mhm. I'll
Put
take.
cinnamon.
cinnamon on my coffee every single morning. That's for
I'll take.
sure.
It's like
I'll,
Christmas every day.
I'll take a
It is.
Disneyland churro.
That's that's only $10. Yeah, no, I'm
Jeez.
gonna spend some time doing some volunteering for a trunk or treat at a
Oh.
nearby church. It's one of the things that I like to do every year. And then Blind
Oh, that's
Children's
beautiful.
Learning Center, they
Oh.
do some Halloween activities that I love helping out at.
Uh-huh.
It is so much fun being a part of those events and getting to walk those kids through a variety of like sensory activities that they might not
Oh,
otherwise be able to experience anywhere else. So that is coming up this week, as a matter of fact. So looking
that's
forward to it.
beautiful. Yeah. Are
Oh, I
you
love that, Wade.
now? Do you do trick or treating where like people come to your place or anything? Because I could see you as the type that hands out the king size Snickers.
I do. I always told myself if I was, as a kid, I used to say to myself, I will never be one of those people that doesn't answer the door or does not
Good.
provide,
Mhm.
mega full size candy bars. And because where I live is so infrequently visited by trick or treaters, just the nature of the place that I live in, there's just not a lot of people that have kids around. But because they come so infrequently, I can afford that. So I like doing it. It always surprises them. It's great.
So everybody go to Wade's house.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You'll get the full size Snickers. I promise.
Oh,
Richard
Snickers
saying,
too.
yeah, the
Yum.
big stuff. Yeah, yeah, the big
Good
stuff. The
stuff.
the king size bars. Yeah.
Oh my
Richard saying,
gosh.
thanks for the great show. Richard, you are somebody that is always here. I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your weekend to join us and be present for our shows. You always seem to find a way to get to us. I'm sure you've got plenty of stuff going on too, so it means a lot. And D saying, did you say live audience? Yeah. Well, D. He sure did. Doesn't mean it's accurate, but he sure did
Yeah.
say that.
I
Absolutely.
I say many things. Truth is not always associated with me. Like, hey, you are lovely viewers. You are our live audience, even if it is from a digital format. So, hey, we when we first did the show, I remember Wade and I were talking, and he said, maybe one day we'll do like a Disney After Hours thing at like D23 adults only, kind of like live conversation with the crowd or something. Like we're still working on that. Maybe one day I could dream of that.
Maybe one day. D saying, did
Yeah,
you say lie studio audience? He sure did.
I,
He
I did
sure did.
lie.
Lie
I did.
studio
Yeah, yeah.
audience.
A live studio
Big lie.
audience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he says that in his mind it's true. Doesn't mean the rest of us believe that it's true. But he makes
My
a lot
imaginary
of
friends.
yeah.
My
Well,
imaginary
lot of
friends.
bless him. Well, thank you all for taking time out of your weekend to be with us. As always, if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, always do so you don't miss any of our live broadcasts that come out. And you can always be a part of the experience too. And no doubt we will be back with you next week, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for an all new Disney News Talk Live. We'll see you two later.
Bye.